Good morning and welcome back to Gaming with ADHD, where it's a time for another deep dive. We are continuing our read through of the Alternity Player's Handbook and, you know, basically learning more about the game. Today we're going to be covering skills and perks. So we're actually going to cover two chapters, not just one. Part of the reason for that is they're small. In fact, tomorrow you'll probably see um, another short, or not short, but another combination video. Probably do chapters because today is 4 and 5, so I think it's going to be 6, 7, and 8. And while I was planning on doing Tuesday through Thursday this week, I might have to skip Thursday. We will see when that comes around. I have a dentist appointment, so obviously that will get in the way. But I may be able to be back. We'll just start a little bit late. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but we will get that all figured out when the time comes. But otherwise, like I don't know if you were able to watch last week's episode, but I do have to say I am actually thoroughly enjoying reading through this game. I think it's got some very interesting I like the mechanics. They're not super complicated. They make sense. Obviously, it's a little different once the rubber actually meets the road. Um, but overall, I'm still enjoying it. Legion of Myth, don't forget, I am collaborating with them. And so there's a link in the description to their Alternity playlist. Absolutely recommend that you go check that out because they're doing a more systematic approach to the rules. So instead of just reading through how a rule works, they're actually teaching you how the rule works. And this week, the videos are the skill system and then combat actions. So the skill system went up today. Combat actions will be up on Thursday. So absolutely go check them out. If you are new, go make sure you're subscribed to them. They have a fantastic channel, and I love what they do over there. So while I only get to do this by myself, they have MaxLiao and HeathenDog as co-hosts and great commentary over there. So unfortunately, yes, that does mean that you have to deal with my less than witty commentary, but that's what you signed up for. So here we are. All right. So with that said, I guess I don't have anything else to stall for. I don't think I will be doing a stream tonight. Normally there will be a deep dive video on Tuesday. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting to hear back. So we might do something, we might not. It's up in the air. But otherwise, as always, make sure you're subscribed. I do try to put out a few videos each week to basically, if it's related to tabletop gaming and I want to talk about it, it'll go up live. So absolutely make sure that you check that out. So I guess with that said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so you can stretch this over a little more. There we go. And switch over to that so my face isn't cut off. Because let's be honest, that's what you're here to see is my beautiful mug. Anyways. Okay. All right. Chapter 4, Skills. Skills are at the heart of the Alternity game system. Most of what a hero is capable of doing, fighting an opponent, piloting a spacecraft, closing a big business deal, developing a vaccine for a deadly virus, is governed by what skills the hero possesses and how accomplished he is at using those skills. This is the longest chapter in the book, but it's not a chapter you need to read all the way through at any certain time. The first few pages are important because they explain how skills are used and how they are organized. After that, each separate skill is described in detail. Whenever you create a hero, you'll want to read about the skills your hero gets for free. And then as you select other skills for possible purchase, you'll read the descriptions of those skills before making the final decision on whether to spend points on them. Eventually, you'll become familiar with all the skills, but having a thorough understanding of every one of them certainly isn't necessary before your hero begins his first adventure. All right, now that is one of the reasons that I am not reading, or I'm reading 2 chapters today, because I'm not going to read every single skill. Come on, that's kind of ridiculous. So, basically, um, we're going to read through the rules on the skills. We'll go through the list of skills. I'll probably read off all of the names, and then we'll just kind of spot check if anybody in chat wants to request that we actually look at one in more detail. Please put that in there, and I will be more than happy to read that off and check out the detail. But otherwise, let's get started. Broad versus specialty skills. Broad skills represent general areas of knowledge, talent, or aptitude. They are categorized according to the ability with which they are most closely related: acrobatics with dexterity, stamina with constitution, and so forth. Specialty skills are narrower areas of expertise, each of which is associated with a particular broad skill. Character must possess a broad skill in order to acquire any of its associated specialties. This is not uncommon. Role-playing games have done this for years. You'll have a basic skill, cooking, and then you'll have a specialty skill, French cooking, something like that. The most significant difference between specialties and broad skills is that specialty skills can be improved and broad skills cannot be. When a specialty skill is first obtained, the character possesses the skill at rank 1. A hero who is being created and has not yet begun his career is permitted to purchase specialty skills up to rank 3. The highest rank attainable in a specialty skill is 12. Increasing the rank of a specialty skill improves a character's chance of succeeding in the use of that skill, and sometimes also provides added additional advantages as set forth in the description of the skill. These advantages, called rank benefits, are automatically earned by a character who attains the appropriate rank in the specialty skill. Alternatively, a hero may be able to receive a rank benefit ahead of time if his or her player decides to spend skill points to acquire the benefit. See the sidebar, purchasing rank benefits. All right. Whoa, that went too far. That was a mistake. Thought I'd be fancy and just scroll up, and instead I ruin everything. All right, here we go. All right, free broad skills. Every hero receives 6 free broad skills at the beginning of his career. There is a table for that. We did see that when we were reading through chapter 2. Basically, it's 1 broad skill per ability or attribute, or basically your strength, con, dex, all that kind of stuff. Now, some of the aliens do not have specific broad skills associated with a particular stat, so do keep that in mind when you're making your character. But overall, you're always going to start with at least 6 broad skills. Obviously, you'll get more, but you have at least those 6. Skill points. Every beginning hero receives an allotment of skill points based on the character's intelligence score, and is entitled to use those points to purchase a certain number of additional broad skills and specialty skills before starting her career. Let's see. Table P5. Summarize the number of points and skills available to according to a character's intelligence. Additionally, a beginning hero may elect to cash in one or more of her free broad skills, receiving 3 more skill points for each broad skill she chooses to forgo. This relinquishing of free broad skills can't be done after a hero starts her career. Character may cash in one or more of her free broad skills and then purchase the same skills later on. I don't know why you would do that. I realize if you really, really want something, that I guess that makes sense, but I mean, let's see here. So page 34. I mean, yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if 3 points is worth it. That seems like a huge loss um just to get some extra skill points. Because especially, where's the chart? I mean, it could end up in like one additional specialty, but regardless, that's still, I don't know. I'm one in these in a skill-based game, I'm generally one that wants more skills. So, I don't know. I'd have to look at it, but they give you the option. All right. As a hero pursues her career, she receives advancement points from the game master as rewards for successful completion of missions and attainment of goals. When she obtains enough achievement points to qualify for the next higher achievement level, those points are converted into skill points and may then be used to purchase new skills or other benefits. A character is never obliged to spend skill points and may choose to save some or all of the points she earns in order to be able to purchase a skill or benefit that has a higher cost later on. Cost of skills. The method for determining how many points a character must spend to obtain a skill or to achieve a higher rank in a specialty skill is detailed in the purchase skills section on page 34. The cost to purchase a broad skill or rank 1 in a specialty skill is either the list price as given on table P19 or the list price -1. Character pays list price -1 if he or she is a member of a profession mentioned in the PR column for that skill. So basically, if it's a skill related to a job, to the job that you do, then you get to save a point. The cost to purchase a higher rank in a specialty skill is either the list price or the list price -1, plus a number of points equal to the character's current rank in the skill. So remember, you can go up to rank 12. So say you're at rank 4. So it'd be list price, rank 4 in a non-profession skill. So you'd pay list price plus 4 because you already have a current rank of 4. At least that's my understanding of the math. Yeah, the first time I saw this, I thought it was like equal to like the points it would have cost to get that skill, but no, it's equal to the current rank. So that makes a little more sense. Skill scores. A character's ability to perform an action related to a skill is indicated by his skill score. For a broad skill, this number is the same as the related ability score. It never changes unless the ability score itself is somehow increased or decreased. For a specialty skill, a character's score is equal to the associated ability score plus the character's current rank in the skill. Skill checks and situation dice. A skill check is used to determine the outcome of an action directly related to that skill. To make a skill check, a player rolls a d20 plus a situation die that varies according to the difficulty of what's being attempted. The check succeeds if the result of the dice roll is equal to or less than the character's skill score. The base situation die for all broad skills is plus d4, and the base situation die for all specialty skills is plus d0. I've already read this, so let's see. Situation die for any particular skill may be modified by other factors. Why are we reading this again? Modifiers to the situation die. This really feels like I've... Okay. So, all right. Single versus complex skill checks. All right. Let's read this because, yeah, everything else, I mean, that was stuff that we've already read. With many skills, a single dice roll immediately determines whether a character succeeds, and if so, the degree of success. If a hero wants to jump across a chasm or recall a specific piece of information, his success or failure is apparent after a single skill check. For complicated, time consuming tasks such as repairing a piece of equipment or breaking into a secured computer systems, uh, or at times when the game master wants to build tension and suspense, a complex skill check may be called for. In such a case, a specified number of successes must be achieved to complete the task. Most of the time, the game master won't tell you how many successes your hero needs. You'll find this out only after the task is finished. Table P17, which is referred to frequently throughout the rest of this chapter, identifies the factors that influence a complex skill check. The conditions under which a hero is operating can provide a modifier to the situation die, ranging from +4 steps for a critical situation to -3 steps for a situation that is amazingly favorable. The complexity of the task is reflected in how many successes the hero needs to finish the job. On any individual dice roll during a complex skill check, an ordinary result counts as 1 success, a good result counts as 2 successes, and an amazing result counts as 3 successes. Each of these individual dice rolls is one portion of a complex skill check. In the best case, a complex skill check can be completed in 1 dice roll if its complexity is marginal, and if the result of the roll is a good or amazing success. 1 or 2 failure results during a complex skill check don't count as failures. This simply means that the character made no progress toward his goal with the action he just took. But if 3 failure results are rolled during the same complex skill check, the third one instantly ends the attempt. That particular complex skill check can't be attempted again until conditions change in some significant way. The hero improves his skill rank, obtains new equipment, or brings in some expert assistance. So, this is actually something that Max and HeathenDog were talking about. You're trying to build something. Okay, well, if you get 3 failures, you're going to end up with, a failed piece. You can't build the item, but you go buy new materials that would come under the new equipment. Or, say you still have material. Well, you can go and get the person that taught you how to make the thing and have them come help you. Again, all sorts of things that you can use to change the situation. It's not a, go on a brand new quest and start over. All right. A single critical failure result immediately ruins a complex skill check. Depending on the situation or the decision of the game master, the hero may be able to start again from the beginning, or it could be that the chance of succeeding at that particular complex skill check is gone for the time being, or perhaps gone forever. Marginal success. When a hero makes a skill check, there are 5 possible results of his action: critical failure, failure, ordinary success, good success, and amazing success. In some situations, the game master may decide that a hero can't really fail at what he's trying to do. A skill check is used to determine only the degree of success, not whether the hero succeeds or fails. In such cases, a failure result becomes a marginal success, but a critical failure still indicates that something unfortunate has happened or may happen in the future. This is a lot of repetition. All right, sorry about that, folks. Character versus character. In almost every case, only the acting character makes a skill check. Okay, I know this is new. To determine the result of his attempt to do something. But sometimes the outcome of a situation may depend on what happens when characters compete with one another. The Game Master Guide has more details on this, but in general, here's how it works. Each character involved in direct competition, except for combat, makes an appropriate skill check. Any situation die modifiers that apply should be figured into the check. The character who achieves the greater level of success, amazing beats good, good beats ordinary, ordinary beats failure or marginal. and a critical failure indicates an immediate and significant loss, wins the competition. If the contestants tie, then another check must be made. When characters, especially heroes represented by different players, use the same skill against each other, such as in an arm wrestling contest or when haggling over a business transaction and role playing the outcome isn't feasible, use this system. Trained or untrained. If a hero has received or purchased a broad skill or a specialty skill, he's considered to be trained in the use of that skill. A hero who is trained in a broad skill can attempt to perform any associated specialty skill using his broad skill score, unless the specialty can't be used untrained. If a hero doesn't have a particular broad skill or a related specialty skill, he can still attempt a skill-related action. In this case, the hero is considered untrained. Use the untrained score for the related ability, 1/2 of the ability score rounded up, when attempting these actions. The base situation die for an untrained skill check is D plus D4, just as it is for the trained use of a broad skill. So I don't have any issues with that. I actually really like that. It keeps it simple. You still have a chance for success, just obviously at a much reduced level. But overall, yeah, that's I actually kind of like the way that they do the untrained skills on this. Feat checks, also known as ability checks. Okay, maybe it's not also known as ability checks, but it really should have been known as ability checks. Sometimes an action your hero attempts is not directly related to a specific skill. In such cases, success or failure is determined by the result of a feat check. To make a feat check, a player rolls a d20 with a base situation die of plus d4. If the dice roll is equal to or less than the hero's relevant ability score, some degree of success is achieved. All right, now we get to the actual skills. So we'll read a little bit about them. Like I said, we'll go through, we'll look at some of the individual skills that I think are interesting, and we'll go from there. All right, strength skills. Strength measures a hero's physical power. To determine the result of an action involving a strength that isn't directly related to a skill, a hero makes a feat check. Lifting a heavy object is one example of a strength feat. The game master doesn't have to be specific when he declares a feat to be of a certain level of difficulty, but he will use the following as a general rule. A marginal feat is one that handles weights of no more than 3 times the hero's strength score in kilograms. A slight feat with +1 penalty handles weights around 5 times. And we got a whole page of tape. Oh, there we go. The hero's strength. A moderate feat +2 penalty involves weights of 10 times the hero's strength score in kilograms. And an extreme feat or +3 penalty handles weights in the range of 15 times the hero's strength score in kilograms. Feats involving heavier weights require an amazing success to achieve and inflict fatigue damage upon the character. In this example, factors other than the weight of the object being lifted may also affect the situation die. For instance, a penalty if the object is slippery, or if a bonus if the object has handles or protrusions that make it easier to hold on to. All right, so that is just a basic check. All right. Armor operation. Actually, I want to look at this one. Armor that's bulky, heavy, and cumbersome hinders the character using it. This is reflected by a penalty to the character's action check and the lessening or negating of a character's dexterity resistance modifier. The armor operation broad skill and its specialty skills help to alleviate these penalties. Table P41 in Chapter 11, Weapons and Armor, lists the various types of armor available and indicates which ones require the user to take an action check and dexterity resistance modifier penalty. Under the skill column on that table, an entry of dash means that the armor operation skill is not needed to use the armor effectively, and no action check or dexterity resistance modifier penalty is associated with it. If either armor op, combat, or powered appears under skill, then the penalty column does apply, and this skill comes into play. Having just the broad skill allows a hero to reduce the action check and dexterity resistance modifier penalty of any type of armor by 1 step. An action check penalty can reduce from +1 to 0, or from +2 to +1, and so on. This benefit never provides a bonus. The dexterity resistance modifier penalty can be similarly offset, perhaps returning the character's resistance modifier to its original value. Character with the broad skill, who is decked out in armor, can attempt any actions he wants, though some strenuous physical activities may require an armor operation check. In general, an ordinary result on this skill check indicates a half effect, while a good result or better indicates a full effect. For a hero untrained in armor operation, an action check and dexterity resistance modifier penalty associated with any type of armor always applies. An untrained hero can't do anything but walk and make simple attacks while using any armor that carries an action check and resistance modifier penalty. Simple attacks are just that. No rank benefits, such as the double strike benefit related to the melee weapon specialty skills, can be employed by an untrained character who is wearing cumbersome armor. Also, an untrained character can't use any type of powered armor. Combat armor. This specialty skill allows... Okay, so this is a specialty. All right, so we've got specialty of combat and powered armor. You know what? Let's finish reading those. This specialty skill allows a hero to improve his ability to perform actions, including parrying with a shield while wearing standard combat armor, by a gradual process of learning to compensate for the weight and awkwardness of the heavy armor. Character with this skill at rank 1, 2, or 3 is allowed to reduce the action check and dexterity resistance modifier penalty associated with combat armor by 1 additional step. Parrying with a shield. The armor operation combat armor skill applies when a hero tries to parry an unarmed attack or melee weapon attack. For rules on parrying, see page 69. Powered armor. This skill can't be used untrained, so you must pay the points for it. This specialty skill allows a hero to improve his proficiency with powered combat armor, becoming able to efficiently employ the strength enhancements built into powered armor. A character with this skill at rank 1, 2, or 3 is allowed to reduce the action check and dexterity resistance modifier penalty associated with combat armor by 1 additional step. All right, cool. So, yeah, overall, I mean, armor's pretty easy to use, and like, especially for space game, I can't think of a reason to not use it. All right, we then have athletics. So that athletics is going to be your broad skill. We've then got climb for a specialty skill, jump. Not sure why they'd want to make jump a skill, but okay. Throw. This specialty skill allows a hero to improve this aspect of the athletics broad skill. With the throw skill, a hero can accurately toss balls, darts, stones, throwing knives, grenades, and other small objects at a specific target. Actually, here, I can read the first paragraph. Jump. This specialty skill allows a hero to improve this aspect of the athletics broad skill. With a jump skill, a hero can attempt to leap over obstacles by performing a horizontal running or standing jump or a vertical leap. Climb. This specialty skill allows a hero to improve this aspect of the athletics broad skill. With a climb skill, a hero can scale walls, ascend mountains, or otherwise climb up over obstacles. Okay, so it's more than just regular climbing. Athletics specific skill. So, okay, this one you can make it up. So if you want a sport or weightlifting or aerobics. All right. Heavy weapons. This broad skill provides a hero with training in the use of heavy weaponry that isn't part of a ship or a vehicle, including mortars, grenade and rocket launchers, shoulder-fired missiles, and heavy firearms. Weapons that are part of a large ship or single-operator vehicle require the use of system operation or vehicle operation, respectively. Heavy weapons are listed on table P40 in Chapter 11. Each one is designated as either a direct fire weapon or an indirect fire weapon. The heavy weapons broad skill allows a hero to use any heavy weapon at the trained level. The 2 specialty skills described below provide improved ability in the use of the 2 types of weapons. Each heavy weapon has a set of range figures. Situation die modifiers for range, as shown above, may apply when a certain type of heavy weapon is used against a target or a location that lies within a particular range category. In addition, the accuracy of an indirect fire weapon depends on the range between the shooter and the target location, as well as the type of success achieved. For example, any success hits a target at short range, but at medium range, an amazing or good success is necessary. Other results miss the target location by the distance shown. Few direct fire heavy weapons are automatic weapons capable of firing multiple rounds of ammunition every attack. Various attack modes for automatic weapons are described on page 74. Okay. So here's the heavy weapon range modifier. Okay, so basically the penalties for it. So the two specialties are direct fire and indirect fire. So direct fire is rocket launchers, machine guns, things like that. Indirect is mortars, grenade launchers, something that you're going to send in an arc. All right. Melee weapons. Free to Sashian heroes. This skill provides a hero with training in the use of melee weapons. A melee weapon can be in any object a hero uses in close quarters fight, from a blade to a bludgeoning weapon to a powered melee weapon. Melee weapons are listed on table P38 in chapter 11. Parry, a character with a melee weapon. Okay, so you automatically get the ability parry. Character with a melee weapon can attempt to parry a melee weapons or unarmed attack skill used against him. Parrying with a melee weapon requires that the character make a melee weapon skill check using a specialty skill if applicable, and compare his result to the attacker's result. The armor operation skill and its combat armor specialty are used by a character attempting to parry with a shield. The character who parries must achieve a degree of success that is equal to or better than the attacker's. For example, if the attacker achieved a good success, the defender needs to achieve a good or amazing success to parry the attack. A character who is untrained or has just the broad skill can attempt to parry, but those with ranks in the appropriate specialty skill have a better chance of successfully parrying. If the defender achieves an equal or better degree of success, no damage is inflicted by the parried attack. Character can only parry in a phase when he has an action available. A character who achieves a good action check result, for example, can't attempt to parry an attack directed against him in the amazing phase. Only one attack is deflected, and no other actions can be attempted in the same phase in which a character attempts to parry. Okay, so it burns an action. It only applies in the phase that you're allowed to act in. So in this particular case, if you get a good result, you can't defend against something in the amazing, but you can defend against parry against something in the ordinary phase. So phase 3. So or marginal. So keep that in mind. Characters with 2 weapons or 1 weapon and a shield, applying the normal penalties associated with using 2 weapons at the same time. A character can use his offhand weapon or shield to parry a melee weapons or unarmed attack skill directed against him in the same phase in which he attacks. If a character uses a reaction parry, he must wait until his action check phase comes up to actually make an attack, though both skill checks receive the appropriate 2-weapon penalties. Okay. All right. Blade. Specialty skill allows a hero to improve his proficiency with any bladed melee weapon, sword, knife, dagger, axe, polearm, or any other weapon that inflicts damage by either piercing or slashing an opponent with its sharp edge. As a hero achieves higher rank in this specialty, he gains additional abilities as described in melee weapons rank benefits on the previous page. Okay. Okay, so this just says any bladed weapon, so it doesn't matter whether it's any. You don't have to take it for each. Because I don't think you have to take it for. I'm assuming you don't have to take it for each. So here's the melee weapon rank benefits. So increase of the resistance modifier, reaction parry at rank 4. Oh, this is cool. So reaction parry. When a character reaches rank 4, he can attempt to parry whenever a melee weapons or unarmed attack is used against him. The parry attempt uses up the character's next available action. For example, a hero who achieves an ordinary action check result and has 2 actions per round could attempt to parry attacks directed against him in the amazing and good phases, but then he'd have no actions remaining for the ordinary and marginal phases. Okay, that's cool. I like that. All right, double strike. When a hero reaches skill rank 6, he learns to make a double strike against a target with a successful skill check. The double strike works as follows. The player rolls 1 control die and 2 situation die to make his double strike attack. The first situation die is the base modifier needed to make an attack with a +1 step penalty. The second situation die is the base modifier with a +2 step penalty. So basically you're saying okay, that's an interesting rule. Because it doesn't say it uses up 2 actions. It's just a single action, but you're going to roll multiple situation dice. And so as long as your roll is still within the ordinary phase, then you just hit the guy twice. That's really cool. All right, and then at rank 9 you get multi-strike. So multiple attacks in a single phase. The hero can strike with a melee weapon 3 times in a phase. These attacks can be directed at a single target or at up to 3 separate targets within 2 meters of the hero. To resolve a multi-strike attack, the hero's player rolls 1 control die and 3 situation dice at the same time. All results are read off the control die as modified by the 3 situation dice. In a multi-strike attack, the first situation die is the base die for the attack with a +1 step penalty. The second is with a +2, third with a +3. When calculating the base situation die, use the target that's hardest to hit. Which, hold on, let's look at double strike again, or because I didn't read the example. All right, examples of double strike. Martin has the double strike special attack benefit. His base situation die for melee weapon attack is -D4. He rolls a control die plus a D0 and a plus D4. So -D4 +1 step. Okay. His skill score is 14. He rolls a 12 on the control die and a 3 on the D4. This means that for his double strike, he scored an ordinary hit on the first strike and a failure on the second strike. Okay. Oh, you're not okay. So you don't total it all. It's D20 plus each situation die separately. So control die is only rolled once, but then you roll the 3 situation dice. Interesting. Or for multi-strike where you get 3 hits. Okay, that's fun. That's a good reason to take melee weapons. Yeah, because you're gonna get that with blade and bludgeoned and power weapons. All right. Unarmed attack, new skill. This broad skill provides a hero with basic knowledge and experience in hand-to-hand fighting. A hero trained in unarmed attack has enough know-how to dish out damage and protect himself in a street fight. To improve his fighting skills, a hero must purchase the unarmed attack specialty skills detailed below. Damage inflicted by a normal unarmed attack is D4s plus D4 plus 1, or D4S, so stun. Or for ordinary, D4 plus 1 stun for good and D4 plus 2 stun for amazing, plus any bonuses a hero receives for his strength score. This is considered low impact damage for the purpose of determining the effectiveness of the opponent's armor. All right, so then you have rank benefits. So at rank 5 in power martial arts, it becomes able to make an unarmed attack even though his hands are cuffed, bound, or otherwise not usable. Okay. I don't know. Okay, because I mean you can always kick. So I mean I guess it takes into account balance, things like that. Okay, fine. Enough abstraction. Knockout. When a hero reaches rank 4 in Brawl or rank 3 in Power Martial Arts, he has a better chance of knocking an opponent unconscious. Okay, and increased damage. When a hero reaches rank 8 in Brawl, he becomes able to increase the amount of damage done by a successful Brawl attack. Okay. All right. The unarmed attack skill is also used to determine, overpowering, the success of an attempt to overpower an opponent, as detailed in the Game Master Guide. Briefly overpowering is a form of unarmed attack made simultaneously by one or more allies trying to grab and restrain a single opponent. If a single attacker tries to overpower another character, his unarmed attack skill check is made at a +1 penalty. Every additional attacker who takes part in the same overpowering attempt provides a cumulative -1 bonus to the skill check. Overpowering does not cause damage, but it immobilizes an opponent for as long as one of the attackers continues to maintain a tight hold on that opponent. The Game Master will provide more information on this attack as it becomes necessary. All right, so then we've got brawling, power martial arts. All right. Dexterity skills. Dexterity measures a hero's agility, coordination, and reflexes. To determine the result of an action involving dexterity that isn't directly related to a skill, the hero makes a feat check. Grabbing the side of a building as the villain throws you off the roof is one example of dexterity feat. The Game Master doesn't have to be specific when he declares a feat to be of a certain level of difficulty, but he will use the following as a general rule. Marginal feat is one that more than half of all people should be able to accomplish. A moderate feat +2 penalty is something that athletes should be able to do in most situations. And an extreme feat, or +3 penalty, is one that tests even the greatest of athletes. In this example, factors other than the difficulty of simply grabbing the side of the building may also affect the situation die. If the side of the building has numerous protrusions to serve as handholds, this might be worth a -1 or -2 bonus. If the surface is slippery or extremely smooth, a penalty of +1 or +2 steps would be appropriate. Okay. All right. We then have acrobatics, daredevil. So daredevil. Okay, so acrobatics is the broad skill. Daredevil is the specialty. You can improve his ability to perform high-risk activities such as skydiving, scuba diving, hang gliding, surfing, bungee jumping, and whitewater rafting. That is clearly written in the 90s. Defensive martial arts. So okay, so basically you're not going to do as much damage, but basically yeah, I mean it's like Aikido and Tai Chi. When you reach rank 2, you can block. And then obviously more skill benefits. All right. Dodge, another acrobatic skill, fall, flight, 0G training, and acrobatic specific. So basically make it up yourself. Manipulation. Free to Tasa heroes. This broad skill provides a hero with a natural proficiency in manual dexterity and control. This proficiency allows a hero to attempt such actions as picking a pocket without being noticed, performing a sleight of hand feat, picking a lock, or doing anything else that requires a steady hand, a sharp eye, and plenty of coordination. So, we then have specialties of lockpick, pickpocket, prestidigitation, All right. We've got ranged weapons, modern, specializing in pistol, submachine gun, rifle. Ranged weapons, primitive. So that's going to be like bows, flintlock, sling, stealth, bow, crossbow, or not stealth. Stealth is a broad. The broad skill provides a hero with the ability to hide, sneak, or otherwise move about without attracting attention. So then we're going to have hide, shadow. So shadowing is the ability to follow a target. Sneak is the ability to move silently. Hide is the ability to stay unnoticed. Vehicle operation, free to Frawl, human, and mechaless heroes. Land vehicle, space vehicle, waters vehicle, air vehicle. Surprise. You want to drive a car? Take vehicle operation. Constitution. Constitution measures a hero's stamina, general physical condition, and ability to absorb or withstand physical trauma. To determine the result of an action involving the constitution that isn't directly related to a skill, the hero makes a feat check. Fighting off the effects of nausea after being exposed to an unpleasant odor is an example of a constitution feat. The game master doesn't have to be specific when he declares a feat. Blah, blah, blah. We already read that. And then marginal, moderate, and extreme feats. All right. Under Constitution, we've got movement. This broad skill allows a hero to increase the distance he can travel in a given time, and also provides him with the ability to make a journey less arduous for himself and his companion. Okay. Race can't be used untrained. This specialty skill allows a hero to improve his ability to move faster and cover more ground in a combat scene. Character who purchases rank 1 in this specialty skill immediately improves his run movement rate by 2 meters. Okay. Interesting. It also goes up by 2 meters at 5 and 9. And the sprint rate goes up by 2 meters at ranks 4, 7, and 12. Okay. Swimming, trailblazing. With trailblazing, a hero learns to find paths through rough terrain or create paths that others can use to move faster and cover more ground during a full day's travel. The successful use of this skill reduces the adverse effects of traveling in conditions of good or amazing difficulty for the hero and any companions who are traveling with him. The skill check is made once per day at the beginning of a day of travel. On a critical failure result, the unlucky hero manages to pick a route that is worse than the other travelers could have found for themselves, causing everyone in the group to suffer an additional +1 penalty to their fatigue checks on top of any other penalties. On a failure result, no help is provided. An ordinary success provides a reduction of 1 step to any penalties that apply. A good success reduces penalties by 2, and amazing reduces penalties by 3. Note that this reduction can't be used to turn a penalty into a bonus. The best possible result would be negating a penalty altogether. All right, then there's the stamina skill. This broad skill measures a hero's physical fortitude with regard to the effects of mortal damage and fatigue. So basically helps you survive dying easier, fatigue. An endurance specialty, resist pain specialty. Character with this specialty may gain an opportunity once per combat scene to check the effectiveness of his ability to resist pain. Allows a hero to function normally and ignore some or all of the situation penalties for suffering large amounts of stun, wound, or mortal damage. Okay. Interesting that it's a skill, but sure. All right. Survival broad skill. So, find food, build shelter, things like that. For a specialty skill, interesting that you have survival and then survival training for a specialty skill. I mean, that's almost the same, but I get it. Here's a here's a specialty to make it work better. All right, intelligence skills. Intelligence is a vitally important attribute for all heroes, even those with characters with low scores in this ability, because the intelligence score determines how many skills a hero can have at the start of his career. Character's intelligence score is a general indicator of how much education he has had, how well he is able to retain and recall information, his ability to learn new information through study, and his ability to assess a situation and quickly come up with the most appropriate action or response. To determine the result of an action involving intelligence that isn't directly related to a skill, a hero makes a feat check. Solving complicated mathematical problems in one's head is an example of an intelligence feat. All right, then the modifiers for different success. Okay, so then we have business, a basic knowledge of the theories of production, distribution, supply and demand, advertising, inventory control, and business planning. Skill checks are called for when a hero wants to play the stock market, apply his business know-how to conclude a trade, attempt an illegal business transaction, determine the values of goods in his own society, locate commodity marketplaces, and compute the local fair market value of goods and services. All right. There's corporate, small business, and illicit business. Okay, that's kind of fun. Like, I wouldn't normally suggest to take that skill, but I like the specialties that they threw in there, especially because they've got illicit business. It's the far future, and there's still illegal items. All right. Computer science, free to mechaless heroes. Computers are an integral part of human society and many alien societies as well. At progress level 5 and higher, most computers and computer-assisted machines are designed to be user-friendly in routine situations. The broad skill provides a hero with a basic understanding of computers and computer systems. In the comparison, the knowledge computer operation skill merely gives a character the ability to use a computer effectively, but does not allow any understanding of how the machine does what it does. I know plenty of people that have knowledge computer operation, but not computer science. Just saying. Hey, Squirrel Hermit. Hope you are doing well this morning. We are just digging through the skill section of Alternity. It's a little dry, but I'm not reading everything. That's just nuts. Anyways, all right. So computer science then specializes into hacking, hardware, programming. Okay, that's especially for the late 90s. Those are still some good skills. Like, or good specialties. Like, it still applies. So that was good. All right, demolitions. This broad skill provides a hero with training in the basics of setting explosive charges to demolish a specific target. A skilled hero has a working knowledge of handling explosives, using primers and timing devices, and placing charges for maximum effect. You want to set bombs? Here you go. In the game, not for real. You know who you are. All right. They also have a specialty to disarm, a specialty for scratch built, and set explosives. All right. A knowledge broad skill. This broad skill represents a hero's ability to know at least a little bit about any particular subject. Oh, it's a vault of worthless knowledge, aka me. With just the broad skill, a hero isn't considered an expert on any particular topic by any means. What it represents is the hero's ability to recall a class he took, an article he read, or a documentary he saw on the topic in question. So, like, how well do you want to do at trivia night? Okay, knowledge skill checks aren't called for very often. In general, a player's own knowledge, imagination, and understanding of the clues at hand should be used to roleplay through most situations. However, at times, a character would logically have more knowledge about a subject than the player controlling him does, especially in the area of campaign knowledge. Campaign knowledge covers everything from what characters who have grown up in a particular campaign setting might possibly know about everyday life to what they might know about detailed history, politics, and popular culture. A knowledge skill check can be either simple or complex. A simple skill check can be attempted to determine if a character can recall a specific piece of information that he had previously obtained, the password for a computer system, the safest route to take for exiting a building, and so forth. A complex skill check is used when a character wants to expand his knowledge of its topic by studying or doing research. The particular information being sought must be specified ahead of time. For either type of skill check, Game Master determines that the information being sought belongs to one of 4 categories: trivial, general, specific, expert. Table P24 on the next page summarizes the effects of the various types of knowledge on skill checks related to those types. Modifier refers to the adjustment made to, okay. Complexity relates to the number of successes needed to complete a complex skill check. Game Master will determine the time units for a complex skill check. Trivial information might be obtainable within minutes or even rounds, but specific or expert information might take hours, days, or months of research to discover. The Game Master can apply additional situation modifiers to any knowledge skill check as he sees fit. For instance, it can be difficult to recall even a trivial bit of information in a pressure situation, such as when you're being shot at, or when you find a bomb that's about to explode, or at trivia night. Any knowledge check made under such conditions would likely have a hefty penalty attached to it. The Game Master can call for a knowledge skill check or disallow a player's request for such a check depending on the situation. When the Game Master calls for a knowledge check, it's usually done to pass on a clue that the characters might not otherwise receive. The Game Master might decide to roll knowledge checks in secret so that the players don't see the results. All right, fine. So here is the knowledge categories. Okay, so this is going to be your modifier. It's an expert piece of knowledge plus 3 steps. Complexity. So it says amazing. So I'm guessing. Oh, what was that? Sorry, I got to go back up to. Complex skill checks. Okay, here it is. Okay, got it. So if you're looking for an expert piece of knowledge, then you need an amazing result. So 8 to 10 successes in order to find that piece of information. I know, super exciting. All right, computer operation for a specialty, deduce as a specialty. Interesting that those are really the only 2. Oh, first aid. Sorry, I'm looking for italics. Language specific, knowledge specific. Okay, so this is something that you'd have to take multiple times. Language can't be used untrained, obviously. All right, law knowledge skill or law intelligence skills. So there we go. Broad skill provides a hero with a general knowledge of laws and legal systems of her native society, making it possible for the hero to function as an advocate in a courtroom situation or perform the basic duties of a law enforcement professional. The hero wants to improve her ability to practice law in her native society or expand her knowledge of law to cover the legal systems of other societies and other types of law. You must purchase ranks in a specific law specialty skill as described below. So we've got court procedures, law enforcement procedures, and then we've got law specific. Life science, biology, botany, genetics, zoology are all separate skills. Xenology. medical science, forensics, medical knowledge, psychology, surgery, treatment, navigation, astrogation drive space. For medical, we've got xenomedicine specific, astrogation system, navigation surface, physical science, astronomy, chemistry, physics, planetology, security, protection protocols, security devices, system operation, communications, defenses, engineering, sensors, weapons, tactics, space tactics, vehicle tactics, probably infantry tactics, technical science, invention, jury rig. Skill enables a hero to make fast patchwork repairs in order to get an electronic or mechanical device or system up and running for a short period of time. Okay. Repair. All right, then we've got will skills. Will measures a hero's mental fortitude and intuitive capacity. Although this ability is most often associated with mental activities, a character's will sometimes does have an effect on his physical capabilities. For instance, giving him the determination to press on when his body is in less than perfect condition. To determine the result of an action involving will that isn't directly related to a skill, a hero makes a feat check. Staying awake for an entire night while on guard duty is an example. And all right. Administration is a skill. Bureaucracy is a specialty. Management is a specialty. Animal handling comes under will. Well, basically, like how good are you at, manipulating an animal? Animal writing, training. And we have awareness with intuition and perception. This broad skill represents a hero's powers of observation. Skill checks are called for when the game master needs to determine if a hero notices something. Heroes themselves never call for a use of this skill. Okay, I like that. Heroes themselves never call for use of the awareness skill. Do I see anything? I don't know. Are you looking around? Anyways, never ask to make a spot check. Awareness, intuition, perception, creativity. This skill provides a hero with training and talent in a variety of creative endeavors. A hero with the creativity skill has a well-developed sense for the aesthetically pleasing, a facility for communicating with the written word, and the ability to convey and evoke powerful emotions through a chosen medium. It's the art skill. A character with just the broad skill possesses all of these characteristics, but not to such a degree that he's able to make a living as an artist, writer, or photographer. Turning the creativity skill into the basis of a career requires that the character pursue a specialty. All right, so then you'd have creativity specific skill. We've got investigate, interrogate, search, track, resolve, mental and physical resolve. This broad skill provides a hero with the inner strength and will necessary to defend against mental stress or attacks, to stand up to physical pain or bounce back from physical damage, and to stick to his own mind and convictions regardless of pressure or temptation. Okay. Street smart, criminal elements, street knowledge, teaching a specific field, personality skills, culture, diplomacy, etiquette specific, first encounter, deception broad skill, bribe, gamble, bluff, entertainment broad skill, act, dance, musical instrument, sing, interaction broad skill, intimidate, seduce, charm, bargain, interview. Interesting. I wouldn't have thought, well, I mean, it's a skill-based game, so it's like, okay, you can. Yeah, it's actually kind of fun. I think there could be a lot of fun had with by taking the interaction skill. Whether you're just like a combat specialist and you want to take the intimidate skill, or you're a diplomat and you want to take the seduce or a spy or something. Yeah, those okay, that actually can be kind of fun. Taunt, leadership, command, inspire. All right, so there's all the skills. Like I said, I wasn't going to read through every single skill description, just things that kind of caught my eye and I thought were interesting. Hope you did as well. If you want me to look at anything a little bit more specifically, we can drop in some extra videos, just like a little short or something, maybe. Just drop something in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see more about. All right, so perks and flaws. Provide a hero with advantages and disadvantages. A perk is usually good for the hero. A flaw is usually negative in some way. No hero is required to purchase a perk or select a flaw, though he may have a perk or flaw assigned to him as a campaign progresses. Perks not only present heroes with advantages, but good role playing of a perk can sometimes earn a hero an extra achievement point at the end of an adventure. Such awards are given at the discretion of the game master and won't be awarded all the time. All right, so here's a table with a list of the perks. All right, perk descriptions. Perks are benefits you can purchase for your hero. Character can never purchase more than 3 perks. These can be selected at the time of character creation or at a later date, but only certain perks can be added after a character has begun his career. On table P26, the use of italic type for a perk's name denotes a perk that must be selected at the time of a character's creation if it is going to be purchased at all. Table P26 shows the cost and skill points for a hero to purchase a perk at the start of his career. The ability of the perk is associated with, and whether a perk is the active type or the conscious type. Active perks provide a hero with a constant benefit. Conscious perks are not always in effect. A hero may be required to make a check to see if a conscious perk can be activated. The game master determines when a perk can be used. When a perk check is called for, the base situation die is plus D4. The perk score is equal to the associated ability scores. All right. So again, we won't read them all, but let's see. Okay, so remember our italics are the ones that you have to take it at the very beginning, so like during character creation. So I would include alien artifact, faith, filthy rich, good luck, great looks, heightened ability, psionic awareness, and vigor. But then we've also got ambidextrous, animal friend, celebrity, concentration, danger sense, fists of iron, fortitude, observant, photo memory, powerful ally, reflexes, reputation, tough as nails, and willpower. All right, I want to see. Okay, alien artifact cost 8 skill points. You're going to give up 8 skill points? I was whining earlier about only getting 3 skill points if you sacrificed one of your broad skills, but this is going to cost you 8? Yeesh, that's a lot. All right, an alien artifact is a strange device or relic that the hero doesn't know anything about. It could be an object of alien origin, or a one-of-a-kind experimental gadget, or even an experimental process used on the character at some point in the past. Somewhere in his travels, the hero came to possess the artifact or the abilities it provides. Any alien artifact that is an item is small enough to be easily carried around or worn as an accessory to a hero's outfit. The hero doesn't know his item's function or purpose. He has to discover exactly what the artifact does as the campaign progresses. As a perk, an alien artifact provides mostly advantages, but every artifact also has its negative side. Some provide a constant benefit. Others require the hero make a perk check to activate the artifact. An artifact's negative side can be a flaw that manifests when the hero least expects it. The downside can also be the simple fact that the alien artifacts are extremely rare, exceedingly valuable, and highly coveted. Someone wants the one your hero possesses, and will stop at nothing to get it. Alien artifacts are listed and described in the Game Master Guide. After you select this perk, the Game Master will design an alien artifact for your hero. All right. What do you folks think? I have been considering, after doing the read through on the player's handbook, doing the read through on the Game Master's Guide. I know Legion of Myth isn't going to be covering the Game Master's Guide, but this is my first time reading through all of it, so I think it would be fun to go through both of it. So, drop a comment, whether in chat if you're watching it live, or if you're watching this after the fact, put a comment in down below. Let me know if you would like me to cover the Game Master Guide, because I'm kind of leaning towards doing that next. So not like tomorrow, but after we finish the read through of the player's handbook. All right. Ambidextrous animal, so you can use both hands without penalty, or with less penalty. Animal friend, do you have a pet? Oh, sorry. Oof. Still got this cough that I'm dealing with. All right. Celebrity, are you famous? Danger sense, concentration, faith. All right. Cost 5, willpower. Let's see. All right. I'll address that in just a second, Squirrel Hermit. Faith, cost 5, associated with willpower, and it's conscious, so you actually have to make a check. This perk provides a hero with belief in either himself or power or agency greater than himself. The player must select what the hero has faith in and the basic tenets of that faith. Examples include a nation, a religion, or a specific organization. This faith must be strong and all-encompassing. The hero must truly be fervent in his belief in this faith, not just be a casual observer of form and ritual. A hero with this perk who doesn't show extreme devotion loses the benefits it provides. The first time the faith perk is called upon during an adventure, the hero's base situation die for the perk check is minus D4. Each additional use of this perk in the same adventure requires a cumulative +1 penalty. The moment a hero fails a perk check, he can't call upon the benefits of this perk until the next adventure or the next game session is determined by the Game Master. Basically, you're calling upon God. With the Faith perk, a hero can appear to perform miracles when the perk is used in conjunction with a skill that doesn't go against the tenets of the hero's faith. For example, a member of the clergy can call on faith to help him solve a problem, apply medical aid to a character, or settle a dispute. But the benefits can't be applied to firing a weapon at a living foe. The benefits of faith depend on a perk check. On a critical failure, the hero fails not only the perk check, but the skill check that follows it. And this perk can't be used again until the next adventure or game session. On a failure, the perk provides no benefit, and it can't be used again until the next adventure or game session. On an ordinary success, the result of the hero's subsequent skill check is improved by 1 degree of success. On a good success, the next skill check is improved by 2. And on an amazing success, the next skill check result is improved by 3. Example, the Werin Shaman, Gorarl, must apply first aid to a badly wounded companion. He calls on his faith perk first, achieving a good success on the perk check. This grants him an improvement of 2 degrees of success on his first aid check result. The dice indicate that his first aid check is a critical failure, but because of his perk, it instead becomes an ordinary success. All right, fine. All right. I kind of like that one. I like the way that they applied it as well. It very much has kind of a feel of like a space paladin or something. I like what they did. So Squirrel Hermit, you said you'd make note of what mentions the Game Master's Guide and just cover those. I hear you, but I kind of want to read the whole book. There's just flipping through the book, I like it all seemed interesting to me. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I'm more asking if people would be curious to, to have me do a read through on the Game Master's Guide as well. Obviously, there'd be stuff like this to like where I'd be skipping over some of it just in the interest of time. But I kind of want to just cover all like the broad concepts. So, anyways, that's kind of what I was getting at. All right, we then have Filthy Rich. So you have a lot of money, good luck, great looks, Fist of Iron, powerful ally, heightened ability. Yeah, well, and the thing is, it's about the same size as a player's handbook. So, another 4 to 5 weeks. I mean, I'm already doing 4 to 5 weeks on this one. And there's a bunch of like there's like one chapter that's like 2 pages. So, like, even going through chapter by chapter, like there'd be some stuff that just goes real quick. All right, photographic memory, psionic awareness, reflexes, reputation, tough as nails, vigor, willpower. Yeah, all those, kind of broad, makes sense. So I don't have any problems with that. All right, flaws. Flaws are disadvantages you can select for your hero that provide additional points for the purchase of skills. A player can never select more than 3 flaws for his character, but additional flaws may be assigned to a hero over the course of a campaign. Table P27 lists the flaws, the bonus skills points they provide, and the ability each is associated with. Unlike perks, all flaws provide a hero with a constant penalty of some sort. So this one, like, okay, so this is one where it always applies, not just, when you choose to use it. So keep that in mind if you want to take flaws. Flaws can be removed when a hero attains achievement level 6. Okay. So chapter 8 achievement. So theoretically, chapter 8 would be tomorrow. All right. Oh, alien artifact again. So real quick, alien artifact, bad luck, clueless, clumsy, code of honor, delicate, dirt poor, forgetful, fragile, infamy, oblivious, obsessed, old injury, phobia, poor looks, powerful enemy, primitive, slow, spineless, and temper. All right, so alien artifact. So this is going to be the opposite. You get +5 bonus skill points. That's good. An alien artifact is a strange device or relic that the hero doesn't know anything about. Blah, blah, blah. We kind of already read that. As a flaw, an alien artifact provides mostly disadvantages to hero, but every artifact also has its positive side. Some artifacts provide a constant penalty. Others require that the hero make a check to activate the artifact. All artifacts, perk, or flaw have the same distinguishing trait. They are extremely rare, exceedingly valuable, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I thought I was going to describe more about how you could have a negative alien artifact. I wonder. So this is definitely something to look at in the Game Master's Guide. I wonder if you can take both the perk and the flaw. So, like, kind of like offset some of the points. So have a flawed a flawed alien artifact perk. But I mean, then you could get your alien artifact for 3 points instead of 8. Where is that? Alien artifacts 160. All right, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Game Master's Guide real quick. Can I take both? Powers and drawbacks. All right, it does not say anything at a quick glance about taking both. Um, Anyways, I think that would be interesting if you could do that, because so here's like an alien artifact that does a cool thing, but then it also kind of sucks. Like it generates a force field and destroys all of your clothes. At the same time. So I don't know. It's I think you could have some fun with it if you wanted to do that. All right, bad luck, code of honor, clumsy. So code of honor is just gonna like restrict you as far as like, like I can't touch bladed weapons, or I must hibernate on Tuesdays, something like those. I realize I'm throwing in some kind of cheesy examples, but again, it's stuff that you have to follow, or you're going to get penalties for quote unquote not role playing, things like that. So it'll be harder to advance your character. Delicate. Hero with the delicate flaw suffers 1 point of stun damage whenever he makes a successful unarmed Stop hitting yourself when he makes a successful unarmed attack against an opponent. So I hit you and knocked myself out. Infamy. Okay, this is sliding scale. So how infamous are you? You're so famous, you're infamous. Sorry. Oblivious. A hero with the oblivious flaw has trouble noticing things, suffering a +1 penalty to all awareness perception skill checks. Forgetful. A hero with the forgetful flaw has trouble remembering details. His recollection of a name, face, or fact has a tendency to slip away when the hero needs it most. Forgetful character receives a +1 penalty to all intelligence-based skill checks. Fragile, phobia, obsessed, poor looks, yo ugly. So +1 penalty to all personality checks. Powerful enemies, spineless, slow, temper, primitive. Yeah, I mean, so again, basically just helps you with your character creation. Do you want to gain some extra points? Do you want to put something into something a little more fun as opposed to just another skill? That's perks and flaws. All right, so that's it. That's chapters 4 and 5. I know I skimmed a lot of it, so I hope you did still get something out of it. Again, as I'm going through this, I'm liking how they're developing it. There's a couple of things that seem a little questionable, but again, we're talking game design, and obviously they made a choice to go skill based. So some things that maybe you don't think of them as skills, that's how you're going to find them. Just because again, that's how the game was built. But I like how they did the perks and flaws. They're common sense. They're easy to understand. That's why I didn't read many of them, is because oh, fragile. Okay, your character takes more damage. Things like that. It's all that all was pretty simple. And then pretty easy to understand. Oh, perks cost you points, flaws give you points back. Not a new thing with other role-playing games. So, all right. With that said, it is 10 a.m. I have been sleeping like trash for the last week. So I'm going to end it here. Um, I hope you enjoyed it. Squirrel Hermit says, "I prefer skill-based games." You know what? That's the funny thing. I find that science fiction games tend to be more skill-based. You like Shadowrun, Rifts, trying to think. G.I. Joe is pretty skill heavy. Mech Warrior was really skill heavy. So they give you a lot of flexibility letting you do those kinds of things. Um, for me, though, I struggle with them just because of the fact that I I don't always know the direction that I want to go. So sometimes I like very, very defined classes because then it's like as you get advancements, cool, here's the next thing I take. Cool, here's the next thing I take. And eventually it just, flows along and I can work with it. So, I like science fiction settings. They don't always, you know, work with my brain, but that's okay. Overall, I'm enjoying this one. Obviously we've got to get to like the achievements and awards section. Um, but I mean it does seem to kind of cross over. It has a lot of similarities with Dungeons and Dragons, but then a lot of similarities with the skill based. So anyways, I like it. So yeah, so I'm gonna go. Thank you so much, Squirrel Hermit. I appreciate that. But I will be back tomorrow, same time, 8:30 a.m. Arizona time. So basically we've been going for about an hour and a half. Um, but yeah, we'll start at about 8:30 Arizona time and go through probably chapters 6, 7, and 8. And then we'll figure out what we're doing for Thursday. So, with that said, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.